All right, 5.4 states factor the polynomial completely. So we're going to factor these as far as we can, and this is the Algebra 2 F word, factor. If you're not sick of it yet, you will be soon, and that's okay, but we're going to factor. So here we go. First things first, always try to divide something out. Always try to divide something out. If you can, it will make life easier. So for this one, I can divide out a 2x to the fourth. 2x to the fourth. Because you notice every single one of these is divisible by 2. And I can pull out an x to the fourth from every last one of them as well. Now I know putting them over 2x to the fourth like that, what I put there in orange is horrible mathematics notation, but I'm just trying to get you to see the point of what's going on. So if we factor all those out, we get an x squared. Negative 8 divided by 2 is negative 4. X to the fifth divided by x to the fourth is simply an x. Negative 42 divided by 2 is negative 21. And x fourth divided by x fourth, those cancel each other out. All right. Now, this has to stick around, but we're done with it. It's got to follow the pattern, but we're done with it. We're just going to factor this point. So, x squared is alone. We're going to throw up a parentheses. Two things that multiply to the left are x and x. Two things that multiply to the right, but add it to the middle. Negative 21, I'm going to say negative 7 and 3. So it's negative 7 and positive 3. Because negative 7 times 3 is negative 21. Negative 7 plus 3 is negative 4. And that is your completely factored form. Number 2, same idea. First of all, divide anything out that you can, which again, we can divide these all by 5. And we can take an m squared. Now, if you're freaking out about, how do I know it's a squared and not a cubed or whatever like that? Well, just go with the lowest exponent. That's all you got to do. This one can only give 2, so I take 2. This one can give 3, but this one can't give 3, so I can't take 3 out. This one can give 4, but this one can only give 2, so I can only take 2 out of all of them. Okay? So, here we go. I'm going to put a 5m squared up front. And again, remember this part in red is horrible math notation. If you did that in college, they will probably yell at you like crazy. But whatever, this is high school, we can survive. So m squared, 70 divided by 5. That's what, 14? Yeah, negative 14m. 245 divided by 5. Well, 24 divided by 5 is 4. 45 divided by 5 is 9, so that's 49. Yep, 49. Then what multiplies to 49, bring it down to the m squared, what multiplies to 49 but adds to negative 14? That would be negative 7 and negative 7, which you may write this like this. However, a cleaner way to write it, the more mathematically savvy, is to combine, whenever you have the same thing twice, is to combine them like that. But for my class, and I assume for Miss Rollins and Wrens and all that, Mr. Danby's, you could leave it like that as well, and it would be just fine. I don't know that for a fact. You need to double check with them. And I would prefer it like that. Okay? But that's what's going on. We're just factoring away. Number 3. Number 3, again, start off. Divide out anything you can. So I'm going to divide out a... well, there's no number out here, so I can't divide out a number, but I can divide out a single m. So here we go. M out front. So I got an m to the fourth minus, minus 81. And that one's interesting, actually. That's a difference of cubes, actually. Difference of fourths. But we're going to treat it like a difference of squares. So two things to add up to the right, multiply the right, but add up to the middle number, which in this case is 0. So two things that multiply to m to the fourth will be m squared and m squared. Two things that multiply to negative 81 but add to 0 will be positive 9 and negative 9. And you might think we're done. Sorry, we're not. Yes. This one is not factorable. There is nothing that multiplies to a positive 9 but adds up to 0. However, this one is factorable. So everything else just gets brought down. M squared plus 9, that's supposed to be a 2. Let's just clean that up completely. M squared plus 9. And then two things that multiply the left are M and M. Two things that multiply the right are positive 3 and negative 3. So our answers are M times M squared plus 9 times M plus 3 times M minus 3. All right, it's time to up our game. We're not done factoring in just one shot. And you can no longer just say, hey, I can write my answer in one step now. Yeah. So if you just write that as your answer, I'm going to give you practically no credit because I know you didn't get it on your own. Well, you might have been able to, but I highly doubt it. If you did, good job. I might be able to do it in one step if I think about it, but whatever. I don't feel like working that hard. Number 4, same idea. We can probably divide 810 by 160. Let's try that real quick. 810 divided by 160. Nope. Well, let's divide them both by 10. Let's start with that. If I divide them both by 10, I get an 81 and a 16. 81 and a 16. That's divisible by 4. No, this is divisible by 8. No, divisible by 2. No. Yep, those are done the way they are. So the only thing you divide this by is 10. So let's do it. Divide everything by 10. And yeah, Mr. Hunter has to think through these two. That's okay. So 10. Let's make that a little bigger. 81k to the 4th minus 16. Okay? And now we have a difference of squares. Because we're going to have to multiply up to the middle. Actually, let me talk about this a little bit differently. Remember